Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rick, your singing wealth coach, and welcome today to our first training on how to get laser beam focused on your life. That's right, how to get more done in a week than most people get done all year long. Today, I'm going to discuss with you the idea of the Genesis effect. Let's get right into it. How you get more done in a week than most people get done all year long. This is how I personally do my weeks. This is what I recommend to my students all over the world so that we can get laser beam focused and amazingly organized and simplify our lives. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to write down my divine purpose. That's right. I want you to write down what it is that you want your week, what you want to be congruent with this week. In other words, I'm doing everything inside of this circle based on this idea. It's going to serve my purpose. So I don't know what your purpose is, but my purpose is I get out of the bed, number one, to help people make it to heaven. That's my number one purpose. And then my number two purpose is to help people get over the fear of people. That's my purpose. So my divine purpose is to help people get over the fear of people and make it to heaven. You write down whatever your divine purpose is, and then make sure that it's at the top of your paper every week so that you can investigate whether or not the things that you're doing, if they add up to that. All right? And then the first thing I want you to write down, number one, is your spiritual goals. Now, where did I get this idea from? I got it from a 94-year-old billionaire. I was taking some training from Darren Hardy. Darren Hardy is the ex-publisher of Success Magazine. Darren has interviewed the world's most prominent people. So he was on a yacht party with a good friend named Kevin Issachar. Kevin Issachar owns the largest port of yachts in the whole world, and they're in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So Darren was at a party with Kevin, and Kevin introduced him to the gentleman who owned this particular yacht, a 200-foot yacht, and the gentleman's name was Conrad, but they affectionately referred to him as Connie. So they said, Connie, and Mr. Conrad, he said, you can call me Connie. So Darren said, you are shining, you are glowing. I mean, what's going on with you? So Connie said, man, I really don't like to talk about myself. Darren said, please do, because I interview people for a living. So Connie said, well, I had to take over my company recently, a $3 billion company, that is. He said, really? He said, from who? He said, I had to take it over from my son. He said, you fired your son? He said, how old is your son, Connie? He said, my son is 71 years old. He said, you fired your 71-year-old son? He said, that's right. He said, why? He said, because he lost focus. He lost focus. He wasn't representing the company no more. He said, but if I had taught him what I'm getting ready to teach you, I don't think that would have happened. So Darren was like, well, drop it like it's hot. Please teach me. I'm all ears. So he said, okay, I want you to take out a piece of paper and I want you to draw a cross on it. All right, just like this. He said, then I want you to divide it up into 4 different categories, all right? So the first category is going to be your spiritual goals. The second category is going to be your financial goals. The third category is going to be your personal goals. And then the last category is going to be distractions. In fact, he called it the devil's distractions, all right? So let's talk about spiritual goals. Every week, when I start my week, I just pull out this simple sheet of paper. This is how I get amazing things done in a week, and this is what I'm recommending to you. So the first thing I do is I write down what scriptures it is that I want to learn this week. All right? And then I memorize scriptures. Doing this, I've learned how to memorize the entire 119th Psalm. I've learned how to memorize the first 11 chapters of Hebrews just by memorizing 5 verses a week. So that's the first thing that I do. I want to make sure I get this word inside of me, because that word is a light into my path and a lamp into my feet. His word have I hid away in my heart that I might not sin against him. So if you want to learn how to get that word inside of you, I say take little small chunks at a time and then just do it consistently and make it part of your weekly program if you so desire. The second thing that I put down is who I'm going to feed, who I'm going to clothe, and who I'm going to visit that's sick or in jail. Now, where did I get that from? I got that from Matthew, the 25th chapter. Jesus said, when was I hungry and you fed me? Naked and you clothed me? Sick or in prison and you visited me? He said, when you do it to the least of these, you've done it also to me. Now, I told you my divine purpose to help people make it to heaven. Jesus said, if you don't feed the hungry, clothe the naked, and visit the sick or the prisoner in his affliction, you're going to hell. That's what Jesus said. Now you say, Ricky, that sound kind of dramatic, or kind of way over the edge and all that sort of a thing. Take it however you want to take it. I believe Jesus, all right? So I roll with Jesus, and that's what I teach, Jesus principles. So if you ain't down with Jesus, you might want to switch over to another video. All right, now, the second thing that I do is I write down my financial goals, okay? Now, in my financial goals, you write down how much money you want to make and how much you want your money to make. All right? Those are the 2 major goals that I have. How much money do I want to make this week? And how much money do I want my money to make? See, it ain't good enough to be making money. Your money got to be making money. That lazy money got to get up and go to work. All right. So those should be a goal and it should be written out because this is a weekly vision. And what it does is it gives you things to aim at. So then you start putting in the things over here that you have to do to get these goals accomplished. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Finally, number 3. The number one thing I put down is what I'm going to do about my health. All right. And then the second thing I do is personal growth. All right. So the number one thing I put down is what I'm going to do with my health. Am I going to go to the gym 3 days? Am I going to drink so much water? Am I going to do so much protein? Whatever. I just got a list over here what I'm going to do about my personal health. And then every day I check it to make sure I did what I said I was going to do for the week. And then the second thing I do is I'm always working on some personal development. Always working. As we speak right now, the personal development book is oversubscribed by Daniel Priestley. You might enjoy that book. But it doesn't matter. You know, at one time I was reading The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, the guy who taught me how to do this. So you decide what it is that you want to be learning personally. Now listen, with my personal development, I don't go from one book to the next, to the next, to the next. What I do is I don't read 8 books at a time. I just read one book 8 times. All right, because it's personal development. And the difference between education and development is repetition. All right, doing the same thing over and over and over again. That's why when I wake up in the morning, I say, God, who in sundry times and in divers manners spake in time past to the fathers by the prophets, hath in these last days spoken to us by his Son, whom he appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds, who being the brightness of his glory, and express image of his person, and upholding all things by the word of his power, when he had by himself purged our sin, and sat down on the right hand of the majesty on high, being made so much better than the angels, as he had by inheritance obtained a much more excellent name than they. For under which of the angels saith in any time, Thou art my son, and there I begotten thee. And again I be to my father, and he shall be to me a son. And again when he bringeth the first begotten into the world, he saith, And let the angels of God worship him. And of the angels he saith, Who maketh his angels spirits, and his ministers a flame of fire. But unto the Son he saith, Thy throne, O God, is forever and ever. A scepter of righteousness is the scepter of thy kingdom. Thou hast loved righteousness and hated iniquity. Therefore God, even thy God, hath anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellows. And thou, Lord, in the beginning laid the foundations of the earth, and the heavens are the works of thy hands. They shall perish, but thou remainest, and they shall wax old as doth a garment. And as a vesture thou shalt fold them up, and they shall be changed. But thou art the same, and thy years shall not fail. But under which of the angels saith thee at any time, Sit thou on my right hand, until I make thine enemies thy footstool? Are they not all ministering spirits, sent forth to minister to them that should be heirs of salvation? All right, that's the first chapter of Hebrews. Why is that so unconscious in my mind? It's because of repetition. All right, personal growth is repetition. Most people don't develop growth. Most people are just educated, which means that you have a lot of people who know about a lot of stuff, but they don't know much of nothing at all and can't execute hardly nothing at a high level. Why is that? That's because they won't do the same things over. Half do something and then move over, and half do something else and then move over, and half do something else, live, and then when you die, you was a half-breed. All right? You only did half of what it is you're supposed to do, and now nobody else got the real utility of your life. That's not how we live. We live on purpose. So write your divine purpose down, and then make sure that you do some personal growth. Make sure that you get into the scriptures, and then make sure that whatever it is you're doing, you're maximizing the use of whoever it is that you are, growing to the highest level that you can possibly grow, and whatever your capacity is, get 1,000% of your capacity. Squeeze the Charmin of your own capabilities to the highest capacity that you have, and then you can live with yourself. All right? You can't do no better than your best, but make sure you absolutely do your best. And then our last category is distractions. Okay? So you write down what you're not going to do. Okay? Now, because this is the area that's robbing you from these other 3 areas. All right? This over here is why people don't have money. This over here is why people can't attain wealth. This over here is why people are stressed out. This over here is why people are chronic underachievers. It's not good enough to write down what you're going to do. You got to write down what you're not going to do. Peter Drucker, the CEO of Merrill Lynch, for years has made this statement. He said, there's nothing more fruitless than doing something real good that you shouldn't be doing anyway. In other words, he's like, you over here in the devil's distractions, and that's where 80% of your activity is taking place. That's right, scrolling on the phone all day, all right, doing other people's chores, enabling people. Some of you parents, you got a serious problem with that, all right? You cook the food, fold the clothes, wash the kids up, and then put them in bed. I'm talking about your 35-year-old son. That's why they call him 40, a 40-year-old rapper, drinking 40s, and he's 40 years, yeah, because he still lives in your basement and you still doing stuff for him. I'm talking about he's supposed to have been doing this stuff for himself when he was 3, 4 years old. This enabling of people is seriously sickening. It's a serious disease. I mean, it's a serious problem. And that's why people who don't write down what they're not going to do get caught up in the distractions of life, because you got to say, I'm not going to do that. All right, that's petty. I'm going to let somebody else handle their own business. I'm not going to be doing your homework. I'm not going to be working for you. I'm not living vicariously through you. I'm living my life. You live yours. All right? Don't let other people's emergencies become your urgencies. I had a young man. He's supposed to be doing some filming for me, or supposed to be doing one of my songs. I got a song called Surely Goodness and Mercy shall follow me all of my days. So he's supposed to be making a track for it. So he made me a track. I ain't like it. So I told him, hey, you know what? Just try to redo it. So he calls me in the middle of the week and say, hey, man, can I just get paid for the track that I did? I said, no, because I don't like it. Okay. So he got mad and cussed me out. I said, well, okay. I just got to cuss him out. I'm real nice to people. I brought him over here to my house in an Uber, sent him back to his place in an Uber, and all of that sort of thing, because that's the way I treat people. I treat people good, not a little good, real good. You know why? Because I got total control over how I treat a person. Right? When I'm with a person, I make sure that they like the only person in my life. That's how I treat people. I don't get distracted. I don't let people come around me and I'm with you and I'm with them and I'm with you and I'm with them and we with 20 people at the same time. Cut it out. You want to be rich? You want to be wealthy? You want God to bless you? Then get singularly minded, okay? Stop with the distractions already, okay? Stop scrolling on your phone and doing something else at the same time. Stop doing 3 things, 4 things, 5 things, trying to do all these things at the same time. You know what happens? It dilutes your already fallible way of doing things. You already fallible. I'm already fallible. All right. We don't rise to the occasion. We fall to our highest level of preparation. We don't rise to the occasion. We fall to our highest level of preparation. Even our highest level of preparation is still imperfection. All right. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice just makes you better. Okay. So you don't have to be perfect because it's impossible. So don't be chasing to dream the impossible dream. Being perfect is an impossible dream. You ain't gonna never attain that, all right? Paul said, I count not myself to have arrived, nor to be apprehended. He said, but this one thing I'm apprehended of, I press towards the mark of a high calling of God in Christ Jesus. In other words, he said, even with my fallible butt, I'm gonna give my best. I'm gonna take my best shot, okay? So if you wanna take your best shot, you need to be laser beam focused, and you need to start writing down what you're not gonna do.